Okay, out to Survival Tech. I want to talk about comms bags. I've been working on a comms bag issue for a little while, and I have not come to a single good conclusion for recommending a comms bag and its contents. Here's a lot of the stuff I've played with as far as comms bag contents go. As far as bags go, I've played around with laptop bags, I've played around with a portfolio case, I've played around with small backpacks. I didn't mess with that Maxpedition or Eagle, whatever bag that is. I've dealt with some stuff that doesn't look paramilitary, some stuff that does. I'm not coming up to any good solid conclusions for a can-do, all-do type kit. But some of the stuff I've worked with is Microsoft Surface, trying to come up with something on that, and it's not really a good field device. I don't think it is. It's I guess it depends on how you define field, but there's no really good ruggedized case for that, and the way the monitor and plug-in capability works on that's a little limited. It does okay with some Bluetooth stuff. I think part of its limitations have to do with, I got one of the lower models. I use that with verifying TV installs, a little bit of other work. The Apple iPad mini I really like. I probably would like a full-size iPad with the Retina display even more, but there's no really good plug-in external storage. You can get a SD card adapter for it though, so you know that kind of works. That might be where I might go on that. One of the bad things I ran into in getting this Bluetooth keyboard, it's really hard to tell if this keyboard's on or off. There's a button on the side. The only way I've been able to make absolute certain that when this thing's turned off, it's actually off, is to remove the battery. What'll happen is if the keyboard starts getting hit and it's synchronized with a thing and it's off, this thing starts thinking I'm trying to activate it and turn it on, which sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. If it's bouncing around in the bag, I'm not, right? And what'll happen is it will think you're entering a bunch of, trying to enter the passcode in this. After so many attempts, it totally locks this thing up and you can't even get it back on until you hook it back up to your original computer and your original iTunes account, which means that's not a good thing right now. iPhone, iPod devices, I like these, and basically everything that would involve the logistics for these pretty much can fit in the cargo pocket, but they're, you have limited capabilities. The other kind of smartphone I think would definitely be part of a bag, but then what's in your cargo pocket? One thing I would talk about though is maybe additional SIM cards or the ability to get SIM cards. And then you've got all the logistics stuff that goes along with this, like little battery chargers and stuff. Extra SD cards, well, you're going to make sure they're compatible across your devices. So what's in this camera, because I'm not using these things much anymore, is a micro SD card with a full-size SD card adapter. Then we've got USB devices that don't look like a computer or thing. This one also serves as a camera, but I haven't gotten the camera function to work on it real well. One thing it works real well as is a USB adapter for a micro SD card. Actually, it's really good for that. It also works as a camera. There's a camera and a voice thing here. The problem with all these spy cameras is it's really difficult to tell whether or not you've turned it on. So if you're setting up circumstances to do video, and your situation is you really depend on the success of being able to get video, these things are unreliable. You can lose the whole fucking thing with that. Other stuff to go in a comm bag, GPS. I like car navigator styles, personally. Kind of my personal preference. Hopefully somebody will have some better like ruggedized model, but I really prefer the ones that will give a recommended route on streets. Throwaway phones, I like these if we can get stuff that matches the type of plug that it uses instead of having to carry a little adapter kit. A lot of the stuff I actually end up with is I'm carrying all these other additional adapters and charging cables just to make sure I haven't missed any bases. So the bag ends up being a mess, just full of cables and adapters and other junk. I mean, it almost becomes a purse. So as I work on the comms bag situation, I'm just finding that it changes all the time, and I don't have any single conclusion. I know I really prefer the laptop bag, just because the computer is going to have a lot of capabilities, but these things start to fall apart. See that? I've got another one with that actually had been a prototype for a demo, a proof of concept thing for a demo thing. There's a Kevlar insert in there. I don't think it's really fully bulletproof. What we'd actually made that for was so that if you were to transport blasting caps, you would not endanger yourself by having those, carried on a military thing like a breaching operation or something like that. And the other proof, the one that was all green, the one that was really military, that got blown up. And I don't know if anyone else went ahead with the project on making those, but I have one of their first ones here. But anyway, yeah, so as far as, dealing with proof of concept on a comms go bag thing, no, I still haven't reached a conclusion on everything. I'm not even sure what recommendations I can make without knowing the particular mission or particular stuff. I've tried Wi-Fi hotspot devices in the kits, and the batteries go dead while they're sitting there. If I'm not using this stuff every day, it seems like stuff goes bad on it. Okay, so just to conclude that little thing for survival comms. Okay, all that junk I showed, actually, I can cram it in this bag, except for the Microsoft Surface, which right now is going in the separate bag. Okay, now I'm going to go look for a micro SD card adapter for that iPad mini. But one of the other things I noticed I didn't mention before is the Microsoft Surface seems to do a lot better job of hooking up to Wi-Fi than the iPod mini does. I mean, the iPad does. The other thing is, if I'm just going out for a relatively short period of time, I got to save weight, okay? And it's easier to have all this stuff and then ditch a few items than it is to try to carry, to not carry enough, right? What I tend to ditch right away are the plug-in-the-wall battery chargers. This one's for the camera, this one's for AA batteries. I got a spare camera battery. They last a long time. I just don't, that's not in a shoulder bag. That might go in luggage, but it's really not, I'm not carrying it with me, all right? And really, if it becomes that big of an issue, I'll ditch the whole camera too, because it's a bulky camera. We can kind of see here a little bit what kind of camera. It's bulky, okay? So if I want to save weight, I ditch it. But actually, everything does fit in the Spec Ops brand bag. I just don't